I am Ted King. I'm a professional cyclist of some sort or another. Born and raised in New Hampshire. As I sit and talk to you now, we're in Vermont, which is my home state. I grew up playing what I call traditional New England sports, largely a lot of time on snow, a lot of skiing, a lot of hockey. My brother, who is 3 years my senior, was racing a collegiate national championship just down the road. And I was at Middlebury College. I went out and watched a portion of the race. I was thinking maybe I should get into cycling. So I did 3 years racing domestically and then caught the attention of the right people and got basically recruited to go race overseas and raced for 7 years at the highest level. You know, raced, I say name a bike race and I've done it. Giro d'Italia, Tour de France, Paris-Roubaix, so on and so forth. The Tour de France is the pinnacle, and it feels like a whole different ballgame than every other race we've done previously. And we race a lot. I mean, in any given year, you're racing probably 50 to 80 race days. I'm on a team of anywhere from 25 to 30 riders, and that means you sign your contract with a team, and then it's that team's job to pick presumably the best 8 at this point, 9, they've changed it down to 8 now, riders for the particular race, be it a Grand Tour, be it a one-day classic, so on and so forth. It's wild, man. It's loud, it's fun, it's crazy, it's hectic. I actually didn't finish the 2 Tours de France that I raced because I succumbed to too many crashes, a couple of too many broken bones, which is heartbreaking, but not everybody who races right professionally even makes it to the Tour, so I get to apparently hang my hat on that. That professional road career has sort of segued to ambassadorship and unintentionally a whole lot of gravel riding and racing. When you are a professional cyclist, every moment of every day, for all intents and purposes, revolves around performance. You're trying to gain as much sleep as possible because sleep is one of the best performance enhancing things you can do. It might be an easy hour and a half spin, or maybe you have a 5 or 6 hour long endurance ride. Come back home. Immediately, the next best performance enhancing thing is replenish your glycogen stores. So, I mean, have some sort of lunch, rest. I wasn't much of a napper, but rest, lay low, do some chores, do some grocery shopping, whatever you need to do, and then have dinner, rest, repeat. It's fun, especially in hindsight, just because life was so simple. Eat, sleep, ride. I never expected to race the Tour de France. To answer the question, what was I most proud of? I think it's probably lining up at the Tour. It's a culmination of so much hard work and dedication. Like I said, not everybody's, there's no guarantees you're gonna make it there. And it's all of a sudden all eyes are on you in the cycling world and beyond. It's like, it just validated everything I'd done for the previous decade and a half. I think probably the biggest setback was literally not finishing the Tour. Stage 1 of the Tour, 2013, we're working for Saga and it's a sprint stage. We can very likely end up in the yellow jersey that stage. And probably with 10K to go, there's a pile up and I get caught behind it, caught straight in it. And that resulted in a broken scapula, which we didn't discover for another week because I soldiered through for another 3 days, then it was time cut. How did I rebound from that? It was the next day, I was walking around France, and then I pick up a newspaper. It was the International Herald Tribune, which is, you know, good international newspaper, and it was just like the whole front page was covered in war and strife and famine and all these terrible things. And there I am being like, oh my gosh, I can't race the Tour de France. I think that put it all in perspective real darn quick. I decided after 10 years that at the age of 32, I'd experienced everything I wanted to do. I'd traveled the world, I'd done the world's biggest races. I'd raced for Peter Sagan for 4 straight years, and he was the winningest rider on the planet, and I was basically doing every race that he did. So at the age of 32, I said, okay, I love cycling. I've seen a lot of my colleagues from professional cycling step away from the sport and hate it because they didn't get a contract. They ended their career injured. They didn't get a contract for that reason. And I still loved riding a bike, and I didn't want to lose that. What worked to my advantage all through my career, very unintentionally, was I was very transparent about what professional cycling was through social media. And so then when it came time to retire, so to speak, from the World Tour, these sponsors, beginning with Cannondale and then a whole handful more, said, hey, let's support you and see where this goes. And that's what Career 2.0 has been. I joke that life is much more hectic now because I need to be a serial entrepreneur. With each contract, with each sponsor, I want to outwork myself as much as I want to outwork my fellow privateers, so that those sponsors are very happy with me at the end of the year when it comes contract time. I do a bit of coaching on the side. I co-own a sports nutrition company called Untapped. I do a whole handful of other things that are just impossible while you are purely laser focused racing the World Tour. Also, now with 2 little kids at home, that makes things quite a bit more exciting. So it's like, it's wake up early, it's get an hour of work done at 5 a.m. before the kids get up, and then it's take care of the kids, and then now I call training catch as catch can. It's like, if I see that the weather's good and I have an hour, then I'll go take advantage of that. If the weather's crappy and I have an hour, I'll ride the trainer. If the weather's good and I've got 3 hours, then I'll go ride for 3 hours. Racing on a World Tour team is self-motivating and self-perpetuating. It's like, you want to do better. You want to train better, you want to be faster, you want to have a better result. I mean, basically, because the whole sport revolves around suffering, you want to suffer less long. Fast forward to the present, and it's this crazy everyday hustle. And I think it's having a family and wanting to be a provider is a huge point of purpose in every day. And so whether that is training, whether that is traveling to an event, whether that is selling Untapped, whether that is coaching, whether that is staying up late and waking up early in order to fit it all in, it's showing my kids hard work and then being able to provide for my family. I was an early adopter to a lot of social media. I think in especially using these social media platforms over an arc of time, you see the good, which certainly goes in tandem with the bad. I think Strava is an incredibly positive social media platform. Instagram is an advertising platform, and I think if you hear why any of these things were created, they're all meant for advertising. I like to say that I'm a producer, not a consumer. As a result of working with the companies with whom I work, part of the job is to put things on social media. It's, in general, producing the idea that bike riding is really fun. I put my injuries on there, so it's not all sunshine and cinnamon. It's a big mix of what's good, what's bad, and everything in between. Study after study goes to show the negative effects of social media, the depression that results, the online bullying, the politicization, and the mindlessness that is the politics of social media. You see a lot of people post, hey, I've just taken a month-long or week-long or year-long reprieve from social media, which I'm laughing because it's funny because then they get back on. But presumably they've learned something in that time, and they always come back saying it was a positive experience. An unending pause to social media could be a very good thing. I mean, to see the world around you is invaluable. I really try hard to not be using my phone and not be using technology with 2 little kids upstairs. I mean, they consume everything we do. It's funny, our daughter walks around with anything as if it's a phone in her ear, which is hilarious because who talks with their phone? I don't talk anymore on my phone. Like, I feel like we live in such a world of text. So when she first did that, I'm like, how do you even know what that is? Which goes to show, I mean, A, I'm far from perfect, and B, kids, they just absorb your traits and movements and actions, and yeah, it's like looking into a very strong self-reflective mirror. It is difficult. You need to make the conscious decision to say, I'm going to put my phone down and go outside. I mean, the endorphins that I seek and receive from riding a bike far exceed what I'm going to tweet or get in a death scroll. If it is pouring rain and it is 37 degrees, I'm still probably more inclined to get on my bike than go scroll social media. I think the world would be a better place if more people got outside, sought those endorphins, turned away from the screen. My wife and I made a very conscientious decision to limit technology in a really big way to our kids. We allow screen time when it comes to FaceTime with family, so, talking to grandparents, talking to family members. Travel time, I would be a fool if I didn't say that we give our kids limited time on an iPad when we're on an airplane. There's something mesmerizing about a neon screen. I mean, like our 6-month-old will we don't have a TV in the house, and so if there's a screen on our hands, like, he's looking at it. There are a few things that make me angrier than When a vehicle goes by in either direction and I see that the person is on the phone, because basically I feel like I'm lucky in that instance. There is a radar out back that tells me when a car is coming, so I'm hyper aware. I mean, I have good hearing and I can generally hear it, and so I'll pay even more attention to be as far right as possible. I have a bike that has a mirror on it for the same reason. I feel naked if I don't have them now. It is an inevitable danger. A bike has the same rights to the road as a car, as a truck. Roads were originally designed for bicycles. The bicycle has been around longer than cars. A big reason we have moved to Vermont is we love riding our bikes and we are away from the crazy scrum of traffic that we experienced when we were living in California. I am a very firm believer in riding to the furthest right as possible. It blows me away how many cyclists weave in and out and ride closer to the yellow line than the white line. Like, good bike etiquette will serve you very well. Cyclists drive me crazy in equal numbers as motorists. Any argument you'll get in while you're on a bike and a car goes by laying on the horn. If that car lays on their horn and there's a stop sign and we stop together, like, if you're gonna have a conversation, 99% of the time it's gonna end up in yelling. Ride to the right. Use hand signals to point out so that motorists know what you are going to do. Follow the rules of the road. Don't blaze through stop signs. Don't blaze through red lights. Saying thank you. I think that goes tremendously far. There are so many times you will approach a four-way intersection. You get there after other cars. The cars sort of assume you're going to blow the intersection, so they wave you through. I say, no, I'm going to wave you through because you were there first. This is your spot, and I'm an equal citizen of this of this road. I think that behavior goes far. As a humanity, as a species, in a modern age, we are trying to do more. In the 1960s, there was a study that said, based on technological advances, in the year 1985, we will be working 22-hour work weeks. Because of technology being so helpful, we're gonna be that much more productive and then therefore have all this free time. We occupy that time with time on our phones, or time death scrolling, or time that's basically just wasted. So maybe we do literally work a 22-hour week when you really boil it down. We want to always be doing something. We want to, it's rare you just get to sit back and relax. Get in the longest line at the grocery store. Drive the speed limit. Like, do something where you don't feel perpetually rushed. Those things, which sound so basic, are really big challenges. I feel like every day my to-do list starts this long and ends up this long, and start the next day and try to chip away at it, and it just gets longer. So I get it. I'm far from invincible or immune to it. I like that the new iPhones come with the app that say, hey, I'm driving. I mean, turning that on is really nice. It takes the conscientious decision, but say I don't want to do that. Pulling over on the side of the road is something that will enhance your rush ultimately, but is a safer alternative, and I do that a whole handful of times. It is a decision that goes on up here, goes on here. I mean, it's on your heart, you know, that super gosh darn important not to be on your phone. In Europe, cycling is more well received, more well respected, more understood, more part of general infrastructure. We live in a, especially modern society, very distant land. And as a result, cars are mandatory. Changing that and changing the whole ideology of an American person living in this society is, again, I don't want to sound defeated, but I don't know how to even begin to have that conversation. I would prefer to lead with my actions. Gravel cycling is the most gravitating side of cycling that we've ever seen. It is putting people on bikes, so many more people on bikes that would never be on a bike otherwise. That is the most minuscule drop in the bucket that I can do, but I feel like that is more impactful than trying to bark at people on social media, which I see a lot of people do. Follow your dream, because you never know where life is going to take you. It doesn't hurt to do your homework beforehand and figure out some of the steps that are going to allow you success. It doesn't hurt to have a backup plan, to have a parachute option. But, goodness gracious, as I turn 40 in a month and a half, I'll tell you, life goes quick. Ride your bike. Riding your bike is better for you, it's better for society. It lowers stress, it reduces traffic. If everybody woke up and did 15 minutes of exercise or 30 minutes of exercise, you could touch your toes or you could get on a bike. That sense of freedom is immeasurable. I like going for a jog, but what I really like about bike riding is in 5 minutes, I can cover the same distance that I covered over the course of my jog. And there's a reason that kids of any age get on a bike, and once they learn, their world is freedom. And that is something that I think adults forget. I think people forget through their teens or in their early 20s and then into adulthood. Any sort of avenue that has those athletic endorphins are so much better for the world at large. So your future staring at social media is a downward trajectory. The future of getting into any kind of athletic pursuit is nothing but up.